All right. Welcome, everybody, to another Wellness Wednesday. This month seems like it has flown by. Hopefully, it has for you guys, but in a good way. Next week is Thanksgiving, and hopefully, all year round, we are thankful for all the blessings that we have. And hopefully, this month has encouraged you to want to share with others what you're so thankful for, because we want to have that grateful spirit, because we are so blessed. So tonight we are going to stay with that theme of having a grateful heart, and a thankful heart and a grateful gut, because we are so thankful for our gut health. And so we want to invite my sweet friend Susan. We actually met a long time ago, that she is here very graciously to chat with us, talk to her about her journey. So welcome, Susan.
Okay, now I'm unmuted.
Yes,
Hey Lisa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
All right. So I'm excited to get to hear more about your story. But first, if you could let us know, what is your favorite Thanksgiving tradition?
So I'm definitely a traditional, big turkey dinner girl. Love that. But we've kind of accidentally created a new tradition. My husband, we did live in Idaho for 8 years, and now we're back in Texas. But we started this in Idaho that my husband would leave and go to Montana to go hunting with his dad and brother. So then when our kids got old enough, his brother's wife would bring their girls down to Idaho. So it was like girls in Idaho, boys in Montana. So actually, my husband's driving to Montana from Texas Sunday, and then all the girls are coming down to Dallas. So we're still doing it, even though we're in Texas.
Well,
So
that's super fun. A great
but it's
tradition
like
to,
cousins, yeah, and girl.
yeah. Well, that's super fun. I'm glad that y'all can still get together like that. That's a long drive and that's a big commitment. So that's a great family to have.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, what made you interested in trying this Plexus thing?
So I was not interested at all when my friend Roz started posting about it. This was back in summer of 2013, so a really long time ago, 8 years ago. So yeah, I was already on a gut health journey. My health had crashed in 2006, so I was already a probiotics snob and supplement snob in a way. And then I saw her posting, and I'm like, she doesn't know about supplements, And I was just like, what is she doing? And so it wasn't really until she started talking about their probiotics that I was like, oh, well, I didn't know they had probiotics. And that got me interested because I had kind of written off Plexus at first. And then I asked her for all the ingredients of all the products. And I was so impressed. So I kind of just proved me wrong, that my assumptions were wrong. And I was just like, wow, I take that. But I was taking a whole bunch of things separately. So yeah, I jumped in for the gut health products and actually for the business because I needed a home-based business at the time.
Well, how long have you been watching Roz, before you finally decided to just take that plunge?
Probably about 4 months. So not that long, but very skeptically, at first. And then we went to dinner, she and I and Andrea. We all talked about it. I was like,
So
okay, tell me what
did
to
you
do.
feel like you were just at the end of your rope and you're just like, fine, I've tried everything else? Or did you feel like peer pressure or curious?
Oh, no. Yeah, no,
Or
really
did you just feel
curious
like
about
I've
the
tried everything else?
honestly, it was the ingredients in the Probio 5, how it's a triple action. And so it's got the antifungals and the enzymes in it. So that was super intriguing because I knew how smart that was to put those together. And because my health had crashed because of leaky gut, I knew that that was coming for a lot of my friends. So from a business aspect, I had a 2-year-old and a newborn baby. And I was like, I can't really work right now outside the job, or outside the home, but I really needed a job. And so I thought, I know how important these products are for people, but they may not know yet how important. So I could totally tell people about these products and do a
Yeah,
business from home.
you knew you had something people needed.
Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
I believed in it before I ever tried the products, just by reading the ingredients.
Wow. I wish more people were were that hooked just by the ingredients because they are superb
Yeah.
ingredients for sure. Okay, so tell me what you first started with and what you're taking now.
So when I first started, despite believing in everything, I was breastfeeding a 3-month-old. So I was also kind of like, okay, I got to be really careful. So I took the Slim, the pink drink ingredients to my pediatrician, and he's like, don't take it, it's weight loss. Like throws it. I'm like, no. I'm like, look at the ingredients, every one, and tell me if there's anything dangerous. And I made him sit down for like an hour. And he was so uncomfortable and he couldn't find anything wrong with it. So I took Slim, and I will say my breast milk went through the roof, my productivity. I ended up nursing my second daughter, my Plexus baby, for 16 months, which was crazy because my first daughter, my milk was drying up after about 5, and I kind of eked out 3 more months, with Formula 2 and all that. So with my Plexus baby, it was like abundant. I could have fed twins, 16 months. So I was on Slim at first, and X Factor Original and ProBio 5. And then I made my husband take all the, the weight loss products. Like he was on Accelerator at the time and Slim. And then what else did he take? I'm trying to think. But yeah, I kind of like made him take the things that had caffeine. I wasn't drinking caffeine at that time. So yeah.
So what products are you taking? So if you started with that, are you still taking those products plus some?
For sure. Yeah. Plus, I mean, I pretty much take everything. I have everything, and it's my little medicine cabinet. So, but my non-negotiables in the morning, I love the blender bottle action. I love to get it done. So as many things as I can put in my blender bottle, I do, and everything tastes even better the more things I mix together. So I take vanilla lean whey, our protein powder, for anybody who doesn't know. But it's got so much more than that. It's not just protein. It's, like 24 vitamins and minerals and enzymes and stuff like that. And I put Slim in it. Sometimes I throw some hydrate in it just because, especially in the summer, but not always. For sure, collagen. So definitely in my late 40s, got to have the collagen every day. And I'm totally obsessed now with the greens that we just came out with. Whenever that was, a month or 2 ago. That's just going to be and I had been begging the company to come out with the greens powder. So that is totally my jam. And then active. So some mornings I don't do active, but there was a time when I was drinking 2 actives. So I just get it all in there with ice. And then I take Immune Plus. At night I take ProBio 5. That's when I take my Ease and my Mega X. Sometimes I take BioCleanse. So that I take it at night when I do. And there's so much, I take Vital Biome, but not every day, so I'm always working in something. I use Joyome. I just love it all.
Me too. It's funny because I look at all the different things that I have and I'm just like, I do feel like a natural farm, FARM pharmacy. Because they start coming out with more stuff and I just keep using more stuff. So, but it's great because I gotta have it somewhere. So I might as well, get it from them and I can trust, where it's
Right.
coming from. So as opposed to, CVS or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So taking all these great supplements and you've upped the supplements that you've been taking. So what are the main benefits that you've noticed on these products? The main health benefits?
Honestly, the main number one is just having a super strong immune system. I just feel, I hate to say bulletproof because that's like, knock on wood. Yeah, I just feel like I just don't get things other people get, or when I do, it's just so mild. Something that somebody else has for 7 days, I have for like half a day or a day. Like it just kick it fast. And also, I used to get sinus infections all the time. I haven't had a sinus infection in probably in 8 years since, yeah, like, my sisters still get them. And I'm like, Probio 5,
So
you know?
you haven't been able to convince them yet, huh?
I have a real skeptical family when it comes to supplements. So,
I get
um,
that.
but yeah, energy, keeping up, just keeping up with my girls. I didn't have kids till I was 38. And so, I'm an older mom of younger kids, but I don't feel like I am. You have to have the energy to keep up. Obviously the breastfeeding. My husband has had, his cholesterol went down, his heartburn went away. He's lost a ton of weight. It's active has really revolutionized his workouts, his recovery time. So I could go on and on. My daughter who has celiac disease, I use all the products for her to always be keeping her gut health as good as it can be, or healing it after she's been exposed to gluten. So.
And that's really when we start talking about our kids. I mean, when we are able to help our own health, it's amazing. And our spouse, amazing. Because when you both feel amazing and you're trying to run the house with two people who don't feel amazing, sometimes the rest of the house kind of gets our leftovers, But when we both feel great, usually the rest of the house benefits, right? When both mom and dad. But when you start talking about your kids, and I start talking about, the results of my kids have had, when kids come into the picture, to me, that is a game changer, because as parents, I mean, that's just your heart. You want to be able to help your kids, provide them, the best schooling, the best, church, the best friends, the best. And when I say the best, you know what I mean? I mean, like a good quality, all the things. And so if you can help them with their health and help them to feel better, because when you look at a sick kid and you can't help them and it's your kid, that's a very, that feeling is almost paralyzing. It's a very helpless feeling. So I love that when people are able to help their kids like that. That's a big deal, what your daughter has. And so that to me is just, that's enough for me. Like, let's talk about this. It's helped your daughter that much. Let's talk about, because as parents, we're not going to give our kids anything that would harm them. So to me, that is a huge testimony that you're able to help your daughter like that. So I'm so glad that she has. Okay, a couple more things I wanted to ask you. So what was your biggest surprise? I know what mine was, and I'll share it in a minute, but what was your biggest surprise after, you started the products for one thing, thinking, oh, it's going to help with this. And then you weren't expecting the results that you actually have. So what were you not expecting it to help you do that it did? What was the biggest surprise?
I mean, honestly, the breast milk, not to go back to that, but that I really was not expecting that. And it just never occurred to me. So I feel like that my second child she is my plexus baby. Her immune system is just as strong, because the babies inherit their immune system through their mom, like through the birth canal and through the breast milk and skin and stuff. So just watching her grow up and honestly be really different from my older child. So I love that I gave all that goodness to her. So that was just a huge surprise. I really wasn't thinking about at the time. And yeah, and some of my husband's results. I was already really far down my health journey when I found Plexus, whereas he was not as much. And so just seeing his heartburn go away and allergies reduced, things like that, that I didn't even know at the time, because that was back in 2013. Like, we didn't know a bunch of stuff about it then. And, you're kind of like, oh, it helps with that too,
Yeah, that's for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, when you're consistent, it's like and he got his blood work done and it's like, oh, labs are better,
Wow, that's really amazing. And we think about all the money that you can save, to do things the natural way, as opposed to doctor visits and prescriptions and sick days from work and just feeling bad. To me, it's hard to put a price on that. Just having, good health. So, and I kind of, I'm gonna knock on wood here, because I kind of feel like you do. I kind of, when all this craziness started last year, all this sickness and everything going on around the world, I said, you know what? I told my husband, I said, you know what? Um, I don't feel like we should live in fear. Precaution is one thing, but to live in fear, because I said for years now, we have been preparing for this moment. We've been preparing for this time. I said, I feel as good as like bulletproof, like I've got a shield of protection over our health and my whole family. And that's not to say that we haven't been exposed or we're not going to get it or get some version of it. But I'm just saying, when we do, if we do get it or anything else that comes along, smallpox or who knows what else is out there, I think that we have the best chance, the best fighting chance, definitely more of a fighting chance if we had never started these products. So I feel like we've been like, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. So we have been training for this time, and moving forward, it's so important. I think some people look at this last almost 20 months, I guess, or 19 months, as okay, I'm good now. And now I can just go on my life. I don't have to worry about my immune system, but you do, because, to think that you're unscathed, because you're alive and you're okay now, doesn't mean that going forward, we don't know what's coming. Never know what's coming. So always good to focus on your immune system for sure. Okay. The last question I wanted to ask. So I know that there's a lot of people that are either watching this live or watching the replay, and they hear what we're saying, and they're still kind of skeptical. What would you say to someone that is interested in trying it, but they're just still too skeptical? They still have an objection. What would you say to them?
I would say that these products, you really have to try them yourself, because your friends' results have zero bearing on your results. Even though we have the same products, the same ingredients and all of that, for one, everybody's body is just a little different, but also you're struggling with things that are totally different, or that your friend doesn't even know about, or that you don't. Sometimes I think people are struggling with something that they're just like, well, I'm always going to struggle with that. So that's not even on my list of things I'm trying to fix, So like we have so many people that want to just lose weight that come to Plexus. And then they're like, I have not had a migraine in like 3 months. And I used to have them like 3 times a week, and do you think it could be Plexus? And we're like, yeah, I've seen thousands of testimonies of that, So it's sort of like, you just have to try it and trust, that we have the 60-day money back guarantee. You can get your money back. Empty bottle guarantee. So you can actually use it and try it. So just, there's so many things that when you get to the root cause of improving your gut health, reducing inflammation, balancing your blood sugar, and getting nutrients in your body that they were starving for, it's like the downstream effect is just so much good health and energy and better sleep and better mood. And it's like all the things, So yeah, I would just say, like, don't discount what it could probably do.
I love that. And I've really never heard it presented that way, but I really love that, what works for one person may not work for another. So if she had XYZ health issue and she tried XYZ product, doesn't mean that you're not going to, and it didn't help her 100%. Maybe she wasn't taking enough, or maybe she wasn't taking the right combination with something else, or at the right time, or maybe the things that she was doing in her life, she was looking at Plexus as a magic pill. And for a lot of people, it kind of is, but you have to look at the whole picture, that Plexus is a tool in their tool belt. I like to use the example of whenever someone, buys a treadmill or buys an elliptical or something, and they say, well, I used it, a couple of times and, a week, and it didn't work for me. But, Sally over here used it only once a week and it worked for her. Well, what else was Sally doing? And what's her background? And what's her, all the, you know what I mean? So I love that you brought that up, because it is true. You don't know how it's going to work for you until you try it, because you're a completely different person and with a completely different makeup than your friend over here. And so, so I had like IBS and chronic sinus infections, and all the things, gluten intolerance and lactose intolerance, and couldn't sleep and all that. And so I took these things over here, and this is what worked for me. But so and so, she only needed this, and it took care of all her stuff. So, it just you have to just try it. And something else I tell people is, there's nothing scary about these supplements. They're plants, and so it's not going to harm you. We don't have harmful side effects. There's no lawyer is going to come after us and say, well, if you had bleeding out of the eyes when you took Plexus or something crazy, because there's some crazy things people run into risk, with some prescriptions. And so, you got to read that fine print, but we don't have that fine print. And so I love that. These are plants. And so I'm so thankful. So thank you, Susan, so much for sharing. I love your story, and I'm so thankful that you have had the results that you have in your family as well. Because I tell you what, being able to help family and friends, but being able to help our family, that's just where our heart is, so I love that. So, and thank all of you for coming to another Wellness Wednesday. Next Wednesday is going to be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and we are not going to have a live, but we will have some fun stuff for you guys and some good information and videos for you. So we will meet back at the first Wednesday in December live, and we will see y'all then. So y'all take care.